Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook live show here on the Better Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm social channels. James, we have a big slate here on Tuesday, 10 games to go over, a couple of pitching changes to go over here as well on tonight's slate, throwing us for a little bit of a loop here. No more Kodai Senga, no more Daniel Lynch on the mound here tonight. Two pitchers that have been swapped out. I'm not sure if that changed any of your plans, but at least for me, a couple of player prop bets I had no longer valid due to the Senga swap, but it should still lead us to some interesting spots here tonight on the slate.
Yeah, happy Tuesday, John. As per usual, I think those sticking around the Better Sports Network just saw you on a different show, so you stuck around.
Better Sports Betting every day here, 4 to 4:30 ish. You'll catch James Grande co-hosting that tomorrow and Thursday.
And Thursday, right? Yep. Tomorrow and Thursday.
Filling in for Servo tomorrow, then you'll be the weekly Thursday co-host. You'll see me on Tuesdays, leading us right into our MLB DFS Playbook live show here every day, 5 to 6 Eastern time. So
not 5 to 7, 5 to 6.
5 to 7, 5 to 6.
5 to 6. 5 to 6.
I know there's a lot of people that tune in and would wish we would be on until 7, but you can find us in our premium Discord at 7 o'clock there. Of course, you have to sign up. You can see the promo code down there below, MLB50, 50% off the first 6 months. We go to fantasyalarm.com/all-pro. You can sign up, 7-day free trial, get in our premium Discord. Once this stream is over, James and I are in there answering all of your lineup questions with all the latest news and everything as well there. So, James, enough about that. We got 10 games to talk about. Why don't we take a look over at Vegas, let the people see what's going on over there, game spreads, totals, anything notable for those viewing our show today?
Yeah, I would say nothing of like significant movement to take note of. Marco Gonzalez still and the Seattle Mariners still big favorites over the Oakland Athletics, minus 210 on the money line. That is down a little bit, open at minus 235. So some interesting line movement. People realizing that Oakland hits lefties and Marco Gonzalez is a bad pitcher these days. So some movement in favor of Oakland there. Yuri Perez and the Miami Marlins have also kind of moved on the money line. Small movement, minus 115 to minus 130. Sonny Gray, minus 155 now on the money line against the San Francisco Giants, who have hit righties well all season long. Let's see. Erod, a little bit up in some areas due to the pitching change the Royals are going with. Michael Myers, not the one you see in a mask on Halloween.
Not the slasher. Yeah.
Not the slasher. But Mike Myers starting. It looks like we're just going to get a bullpen game out of them today. Yeah. Myers has not pitched deep into many games. I guess the Cubs.
He did start at the AAA level. So
he started the AAA level, but he also, just made an appearance 6 days ago, and it was 2 2/3. Now 4 walks, 2 hits, 6 base runners, and 2 2/3 might do you in. To not let you pitch deeper into games, but only 56 pitches in that game. So don't expect him to be extended all that much. Yuri Perez, as I mentioned, is kind of growing on the money line as well. The Mets are falling by the wayside, was even now minus 120 in favor of the Cubs. That is because they made the pitching change, as you alluded to. In terms of over-unders, I was interested to see when we recorded last night, and you could watch us every morning at 9 a.m. here on the Better Sports Network and over at the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channels. 11.5 now in Miami and Colorado. That is up from 11. And I think that's interesting because Yuri Perez is such a hot commodity, hot prospect. See people betting the over there. Probably more likely to be attacking Austin Gomber, but 9.5 runs also in Boston, LA. About even money on the over and the under there. Really it, John. There's nothing else in terms of totals that are. I guess Houston and Milwaukee is 9.5. That should be a fun one. Not exactly your barn burner of a pitching matchup like it was supposed to be between Corbin Burns and Christian Javier yesterday.
Right.
JP France and Colin Ray taking the mound in Houston, Milwaukee, 9.5 over under. If you guys listen to the podcast, we might like one side of that game quite a bit, maybe both sides of that game.
Yeah, for sure. Quick there, our guy Michael Rojas in chat. First 5 money line with the Nats. If you tuned into the Better Sports Betting Show I just did with Dan Servideo, we like the under on the first 5 in that game here. Pretty interesting numbers there, and this can go right into our pitching conversation. If you look at the Vegas odds for earned runs allowed in that game, the Padres are minus 150 favorites in that game to win. Mackenzie Gore is minus 140 on the under 2.5 earned runs allowed.
Okay.
And Yu Darvish is minus 135 on the under 2.5 earned runs allowed. This is also a game with an 8 over-under total. But Vegas is indicating that both starting pitchers are potentially giving up 2 or fewer earned runs in this game. So Nat's bullpen, I guess, gonna blow this one out. So if you tuned into that live stream, we liked the under 8 in that game. We liked the under first 5 in that game here, just because that doesn't really seem like it adds up, right? That doesn't seem like it makes much sense here. That you have a minus 140 under 2.5 on a team that is also a underdog in that game. So it looks like the bullpens will be giving up runs. So get the early unders in on that one. And then our guy, better boss here, Matt Deutsch. I'm going to puke if Rich Hill gives up another quality start. Listen,
He won't.
I don't think he will. I like Josh Jung a lot here today. Righties against Rich Hill have been absolutely smashing him. And while I guess the interesting spot to that is we talked about this as well. Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia, if you look at their splits this year, have struggled against left-handed pitching.
Yep.
Does that change here today against a pitcher that has been awful against righties? We'll see, but there's plenty of other right-handed bats in that lineup that can do some damage here today. So I agree with you. If Rich Hill goes out there and pitches well again, despite the fact he has like a 5.5 FIP, his expected ERA is high as well, then that's what it's going to be like. But we like Rangers a lot tonight as well.
I would say to your Semien and Garcia point, it looks like Adolis is coming around a little bit, John. 231 ISO against lefties this year. And what do we know about Rich Hill? Like it's been complete power, right? It's been power. So with Adolis at the 231 ISO at this point, I can't see it playing out. I mean, Rich Hill, Matt, you save, your stomach's going to be saved. You're no puke today. 347 WOBA, 237 ISO allowed to right-handed bats, 41% hard hit rate. The Rangers are going to have it.
So if you're playing the turbo slate today, you can go take advantage of the Rangers there against Rich Hill and the Pirates. We're looking at the main slate here, 10 games. So we touched briefly on the Darvish Gore. They're priced right next to each other on DraftKings, 10-5 and 9-3. Again, kind of interesting, just given the expected run totals of those two starting pitchers here tonight. Because James, if we're looking at ownership today, like where's that looking at? Where's that ranking those pitchers for tonight's slate? I mean, Strider, Cole, Gray, Darvish, Gore, topping the list there over 9K.
So it's actually currently distributed as it's priced.
Ranked?
Okay. Yes. In terms of these top 5 names, it is. And this is the same exact scenario we had the 5 days ago with Spencer Strider and Garrett Cole, where both you and I took a stand on the Garrett Cole side in a better matchup with Spencer Strider significantly more expensive in a tougher matchup, and it panned out. And it looks to the ownership is closer. Spencer Strider projected somewhere around 45%, Garrett Cole 37%. But Sonny Gray 16%, Yu Darvish 14%. No one's playing Mackenzie Gore, 6%, which I understand because San Diego has been better against the lefty split than they have against the righty split. But Mackenzie Gore has been really good. And San Diego, even though they have been better against that split, still not like anything special. So, when you look at this top tier, against the Dodgers, like this feels like another situation where I understand Spencer Strider could have 15 strikeouts and it would not surprise anybody, right? Because that's just
strikeout prop tonight's at 9, and it seems high.
Well,
I know he's an elite strikeout pitcher, but the Dodgers 9, like
I know, and it's not like the Dodgers strike out all that much, 22.7% of the time against righties. It just feels like they hit righties very hard. And we saw Spencer Strider in a tough spot against Texas, who we just talked about, 4 earned, 2 home runs, 9 base runners in 5 innings. Like he labors through games a lot. Like he hasn't really pitched deep into games through the first 2 seasons of the year of his career because he's always striking people out. I would rather just play Garrett Cole at this price range rather.
Yeah.
That's not my homer coming out. Baltimore is a very good offense, and Yankee Stadium can be dangerous to pitch in. But again, we're getting a discount. This is a better matchup for Garrett Cole than it is Spencer Strider, and the ownership is going towards Strider. I'm going to go with the lesser owned Garrett Cole and save $1,100.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that makes a lot of sense there for sure. Excuse me there. So if that's where you're looking at for Cole just being lesser owned, does that put you on any of the other guys here? Again, Sonny Gray, we talked about Bailey Ober yesterday in this matchup, how some of the numbers against Ober against lefties kind of popped out, but it only happened during the first inning. After that, he was pretty much nailed the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray is a Cy Young contender at this point in the year, coming off, an okay start. It's funny to see a guy give up 2 earned runs. We're like, oh man, awful start for Sonny Gray. It's just that he only went 84 pitches. He only went 4 innings, and it's against the Dodgers. Tough spot here. Right. San Francisco, we've been going in on them a lot this year against righties. They strike out a ton still. Gray is not a big-time strikeout pitcher. He profiles a lot more as a guy who keeps the ball down. Do you think that Sonny Gray is worth the 10-6 tag tonight?
He has been, I think, better in terms of strikeouts this year. In his defense, 60 strikeouts in 49 innings, like that. It was
actually really only to your point. Sorry to interrupt you there. Last year was really the only year he wasn't a good strikeout pitcher. Right. Cincinnati days, he was actually a pretty good K per 9 guy. So.
And the Oakland days, the Yankees, just like the Yankees time in New York was not great. That's why some people need to pitch in Oakland and Minnesota for their bet. Right. Some people need to hit in Minnesota, Joey Gallo. Look, I think there is some sneaky upside for Sonny Gray tonight. And again, it's another situation where you keep going down this list, and the ownership gets lower and lower every stop you go. Like the Giants are potent against righties, but you mentioned it. They strike out a lot. Sonny Gray this year, 29.6% K rate. That's big. There's upside to be had. Now, the one issue with Sonny Gray, more than anyone else, seems to be, every once in a while we only throw 84 or 90 pitches, and that's not the best. Where I know Garrett Cole every 5th day is giving me at least like 105 pitches. You look at Garrett Cole, it's 92 was his season low. Sonny Gray's been under 90 like 4 times already this year. Mm-hmm. So I like Sonny Gray. I think Yu Darvish is in a tough spot because Washington's so pesky. Could get to Mackenzie Gore, but why not just go to Erod for $500 cheaper? So I think it would probably be Cole and Gray if I would rank the top 5 guys for me. Is that kind of how you feel as well?
Yeah, I think that's fair. If we're going down into the mid-tier range, again, we lost, Osenga was kind of priced up there, but
yeah, he was priced with everybody
else. Has anything changed for us in the mid-tier? Again, we did the podcast this morning. I didn't feel like we loved a ton. Like we talked about Alex Cobb and Drew Smiley a little bit, just because of their current forms. Do they still pique you at all here?
Yeah, Alex Cobb has been great outside of his last start. He gets deep into games. The issue is, Minnesota has a very tough top half of their lineup. Their bottom half of the lineup is not strong. Like Kyle Farmer is, has been decent, but there's not a lot of power. Then Willie Castro, 290 WOBA against righties. Christian Vasquez is a 0 offensively these days. And Michael Taylor, most of the time, is as well. If Cobb can navigate the top half of the lineup, I have some interest. But yeah, Erod is, coming off his worst start in a while. He looked like a Cy Young candidate for like a month and a half. He's probably the guy.
27% strikeout rate for Erod over his last 6 starts too. So a guy that, you look at his strikeout rate on the season, you're like, you know what? It's not as high as I thought it was. Well, he kind of turned it on after the first 2 starts of the year, and strikeouts are really starting to come on for him.
Yeah, and Kansas City going back to this Nick Pratto leadoff lineup again, and they did move Bobby Witt up to 4. And you and I kind of speculated, like, what do we think they were going to do? Neither of us thought he was going to bat 4th. That was not. It was 1st or just keep him hitting 6th. And Edward Olivares is hitting 6th. I know they've been batting him 2nd at times. They're doing Salvi. So like, I think if in this mid tier, it's Erod or Cobb, pretty much same feeling we had earlier. And then it's what do you want to do below? Because do you dare pitch somebody in cores? I think is the because there's almost 7-footer staring at you dead in the eye coming off another high quality strikeout game in his
listen,
career,
I talked about it on the show previously, again, the Bear Sports betting show here. Not Story Ruiz. We'll talk about Story Ruiz later on too, but Yuri Perez here had 6 strikeouts in his debut against Washington, or no, his last start against Washington, rather. Washington's one of the worst, one of the lowest, hardest teams to strike out. Jesus, tongue twister there. Hardest teams to strike out in baseball is the Washington Nationals, and he had 6. So you look at him against Colorado here, and you think that the strikeouts should be there for him today.
Yeah, and like Colorado isn't exactly a team that is striking out a ton. They're not. They have been kind of respectable in that department. Well, like you just mentioned, so was Washington. And Yuri Perez, I mean, this is just what he's profiled at every single level he's pitched at. He is a monstrous human who is throwing on top of you because he is so big and he throws very hard. Like, it's very hard to hit those type of pitchers. We saw, I mean, how many strikeouts did Randy Johnson end with his career pitching at a 6'8" frame? Like that has happened for guys who throw hard. So I'm okay getting to Yuri Perez, who we see get a $600 decrease in price tag, going from, a pesky Washington offense to an offense we're not really scared of in Colorado. Yes, they have gotten better since getting Grishik back. Profar's been better of late. Like, Elias Diaz continues to hit every single night. Like, yeah, Colorado's been slowly getting better, but they're just not a team that has profiled with a lot of power. That has been Yuri Perez's main issue so far. 3 solo shots in 2 games. So yeah, that has to be a concern. And that's why we probably have Colorado on our radar as well. At least the guys who can put one out, because he has given us a reason to use home run hitters.
I agree with you there. Then the last one I'll throw out there is Brayan Bello. Again, I talk about him a lot, not just because I'm a Red Sox fan, but highly rated prospect at baseball top 100. And he's starting to figure it out. This is, if you remember last year, James, he got up and he had some ugly looking surface numbers. But then you looked at like the FanGraph numbers, and you're like, he's getting wildly unlucky. Guys had like very soft contact, but a crazy high batting average of balls in play against him. And then he got off to a little bit of a slow start here, but now you look at his last 4 starts, no more than 2 earned runs in any of those 4, 17 or more fantasy points in 4 straight. The Red Sox are favorites here tonight. I think that's a lot to like about Brayan Bello in this spot. As we say every weekend, every day rather, just got to navigate yourself around Trout Ohtani, and maybe you'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the peripheral numbers look pretty good. And the one thing you just have to love about Brayan Bello, 2 things rather. 23.7% K rate is very solid, especially you're getting a guy at a almost sub 6K price tag. You don't see that. Almost 24% K rate at this price. You just don't. And pair that with a 61.6% ground ball rate. Like, that's ridiculous. The numbers are coming around for him. 4 xFIP is much better than his ERA stands right now. So, yeah, and he's actually going to be the highest owned value of the slate, right behind Marco Gonzalez, who you and I have little to no interest in. Because, look, newsflash, and I don't think people realize, and, yes, did Frambar just complete game shutout Oakland to maybe debunk this theory? Sure. Oakland has been a top 15 team against left-handed pitching all year long. It was top 10 for a while. Frambar Valdez is better than Marco Gonzalez for anyone who, isn't aware. So I kind of like Oakland here. So I'm not going to get to a chalky Marco Gonzalez. I have little to no interest in doing.
No, I agree with you. We talk about that a lot. People just see Oakland on the slate and they kind of gravitate to the pitcher. And we've talked about we've for better or for worse, we've had our share of Oakland sacks in our lineups this year. So I agree with you. This is definitely a spot to take a peek at them. Go on over to catcher here. Again, we talk a lot about this catcher position. Some slates it's good, some slates it's bad. How are we feeling about it today?
I mean, Salvi exists in the world, so like that's cool. He just doesn't have the best matchup. But I mean, any matchup for Salvi these days has been a plus matchup for Salvi. So I could get there. It's definitely not as good as it's been. I think you can get to Cal Raleigh at 45. He feels like the best option, 4K or above. He has been very good against both splits in term, at least from a power standpoint over the last 2 years. Like that is what Cal Raleigh has done. He has hit for power. He's going to hit in the middle of the Seattle lineup. Seattle is likely going to come in with a bunch of ownership once again because that's kind of what they've been. And to be fair, they've been cheap like every slate. So I could see getting to Cal Raleigh. He is like the highest projected high-priced catcher of the slate. Really, the only one getting any ownership. Elias Diaz is right there if you want to go to Elias Diaz because Elias Diaz does have some
Homer
power.
last night again.
I just don't know if we need to because then you look at where all the ownership's going and it's just all down here in the dumps.
Who is it? Who's the top target down here for value?
Jacob Stallings, everybody's playing, which,
the 127 hitting Jacob Stallings, but he came through last night.
It's like
run, 2 RBI, walk.
Cal Raleigh DHing. We just got the Seattle lineup. Cal Raleigh DHing Tom Murphy behind the plate hitting 9th. I know we like Tom Murphy against lefties, but interesting to see both catchers in the lineup. They took Jose Calabello out of the lineup. Carabello out of the lineup.
Back-to-back days, including a 3 stolen base day in there as well. You got to get them out. You can't just keep rolling good players out every day. That's just
I agree. Seems like a terrible strategy.
Just take that. Hey, we have Francisco Alvarez. He's hitting the ball really well, but we signed Gary Sanchez. So let's play Gary Sanchez tonight. Why not?
Yeah, and I saw reports that there's like reports floating around that the Mets might send Francisco Alvarez down.
Oh, sure. Because when you have the chance to play Gary Sanchez over Francisco Alvarez,
you have to jump at it, right?
There's no better defensive catcher in baseball than Gary Sanchez. So, and then you can couple that with a 35% strikeout rate. I mean, well, you gotta put that guy in your lineup. Have to.
Nothing like getting the 2017 Gary Sanchez in your lineup. That's who he's gonna be. That's who he's gonna be for everybody he goes to. Also Tigers catchers, John. Your boy Eric Haas coming in with a lot of ownership. If you want to,
I wonder if that's changed since the Mayer swap because Lynch was supposed to be the starting pitcher, lefty righty splits there for Haas.
That's fair. Eric Haas is not even in the lineup. Jake Rogers. Yeah, Jake Rogers also getting a lot of ownership. So that will likely swap, obviously, because actually 2 of the top 4 are not even in the lineup. So catcher could just be all over the place tonight just because it's a bad position. Is there anyone else that you're like even looking at?
I mean, Red Sox catchers is kind of punting, right?
Yeah, updated ownership. I got it right. Jake Rogers still fixing to be chalk for whatever reason. Just because he hits home runs, I guess, every so often, right?
I mean, if Reese McGuire gets in a lineup here tonight, had 2 hits yesterday or 2 hits 2 days ago. Could be in the lineup here tonight. 5 and 6 fantasy points his last 2 games against Griffin Canning. He'll hit 9th, which we talk all the time. Wrap around stack there. If you want to just punt catcher, you pointed out Rogers there. Power 5 homers there. Great handlebar mustache as well. Our guy Mark Pitts asking about Sean Murphy. Listen, frustratingly last night I stacked Matt Olson and Acuna. Acuna came through fine. Olson did not. Sean Murphy came through with the 2 RBI knock. So if you want to go Murphy here, that's you certainly can. Not gonna rank him out. One of the best hitting catchers in baseball. Salvi, 10 of his 11 home runs have come against righties this year. So, not showing a ton of power against southpaws yet. Obviously, Adley gets Cole, so Murphy probably a decent pivot off of Elias Diaz or Cal Raleigh here tonight. So
Yeah, I mean, and the numbers are worth mentioning. 271 ISO, 384 WOBA against
yeah,
right-handed pitching for Sean
yep,
Murphy. So hitting behind Acuna Olsen, like you're going to get a
getting a
lot
lot
of
of pitches
pitches.
to hit, 100%. First base then. Again, Otani's up here. We also know Walsh is down low. Matt Olson, Pete Alonso. I know you gave out your home run call tweet today. A lot of people in on Pete Alonso here against Smiley at 52. Freddie Freeman yesterday home run pick from our girl Jen Piacenti. Nailed that one. Congrats, Jen. He's at 51 against Strider. Not feeling like we're going to go there. I mentioned on stream this morning, nothing changed for me here. Love Anthony Rizzo at $4,900.
Yeah, I would say Rizzo is probably, if you're going to play Yankees, the best option. I have no problem getting to Alonso for power. I have also no problem getting to Olsen. Like Bobby Miller is a good prospect, but who also unfortunately pitches in the PCL during
Right.
his time at AAA. Like it's not always easy to assess pitchers that come from that league, just given how it's like pitching in cores all the time. So we have to keep that in mind. I like Olsen, I like Alonso, but I think Rizzo is the top dog up here. But don't bury the lead too much, John. The cover of all of our podcast this morning and the cover of today's live stream, Rowdy Tellez 4,100 against another guy with a very good mustache. I will give JP France
Yep.
some credit there. Very good stash. Not a very good
Not
pitcher.
a very good pitcher. Really bad numbers against righties, but we're just kind of rolling
Yeah.
Tellez out there as a stack anyway. It's like a lot of
Right.
power. He's at home. A lot of regression numbers there for France. He's a 20% home run to fly ball rate. I mean,
Yeah, it's
very bad.
crazy.
So we think Tellez there and for $4,100 certainly going to fit the bill for a lot of our lineups here tonight. You like Kirilloff. You picked him up in our seasonal league. $3,500 against Cobb. Any interest?
I mean, hopefully he doesn't get fifth inning pinch hit
Oh,
for
that's
again
true.
by Kyle Garlick for literally no reason. I mean, to Kyle Garlick's credit, he did home run. He hit a home run, but like, let's not pinch hit our third hitter. I mean,
Yeah,
don't bat him third if you're going to pinch hit him. Maybe. I
right.
mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything. Yeah, I mean, Kirilloff has been really good. I struggle sometimes using guys against someone like Alex Cobb and like Brian Bayo, for example, who just do nothing but induce ground balls. It's very because then you play Kirilloff and he's like 1 for 4 with a
Right.
single, 3 ground outs. It's like, oh, okay, well that sucks. I'm okay with it. It's a great price. I don't expect him to be this price for much longer, especially if he continues to hit the way he has and actually just
Right.
stays healthy. Because that's been the one knock on Alex Kirilloff, his inability to stay healthy. So I'm okay there. I kind of have interest in going back to the Red Sox
Okay.
tonight, and they really were terrible against Jaime Barria last night. Griffin Canning, though, has not there's been a lot of traffic for Griffin Canning this year.
Yep.
Not good numbers. 519 xFIP, 19% strikeout rate. Both those numbers are terrible. The ground ball rate is good for Griffin Canning. That's the only thing that's really saving him. But against right-handed bats, and this is Justin Turner related, 328 WOBA, 203 ISO. A lot of power to righties. Turner has found his power stroke a little bit here. 3 home runs in his last 10 games, hitting over 300 over that span. We know he hits in the middle of their lineup. And I kind of like the Sox. And the WOBA and ISO combination against lefties is just
Right.
as bad. And we know Boston is just going to throw the kitchen sink of lefties at you, other than Justin Turner and probably Kike, right? Like those are possibly the only 2 righties in the lineup tonight.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it's just trying to think that would probably unless you get Connor Wong.
yeah, unless you get max, you have 3 righties,
Right.
6 lefties, right? And then you have, but Turner has been better, and Griffin Canning just not missing bats in just every pitch he throws is hard contact. So I kind of like Justin Turner I kind of like Cassis in the same, whoever is at first, or if you want to play one or the other, because one's
Right.
DH and so I like both Boston first basemen here.
Yeah,
quite a bit
I'm with you in agreement with that. Second base. We got guys at the top that we've not really played in a little bit. Estrada, Iraz. Altuve's got Colin Ray at $5,300. Nico Horner leading off against McGill at $49. Gleiber leading off tonight against Bradish at $48. Morales hitting 5th tonight because they keep moving his spot around the lineup. Where are we peeping at this top half of the second base position?
Can we just figure it out with this guy, please? Like, can we just hit Chris Morel like right in the middle of the lineup?
I agree.
I know 5th is a good spot, but like, just figure it out. Look, Altuve is finding his groove. Last 2 games, like hits in each. We have a lot of on base. Like, he's been on base a bunch because he's drawing walks, which early career Jose Altuve just didn't ever do. So good to see. I don't think I can get to 5,300 Altuve unless you're playing a Houston stack, which is obviously in play because Colin Ray has not been good. Glaber is fine. It's been better for lefties against Kyle Bradish. Kyle Bradish has been like surprisingly good. Righty power has, I guess, been okay against Kyle Bradish. 176 ISO against him. But Glaber just a 152 ISO. More so would play it in the Yankee stack as well. I love Chris Morel. 16 fantasy points per game is ridiculous.
I agree with you.
The
power is crazy. You get him in both outfield and second. Again, 7 homers in 11 games. So, or 8 homers in 11 games. 7 in the last 10. Just
ridiculous.
Absurd numbers. Moving on down, McKinstry no longer against a lefty, leading off against Mayers here and then a bullpen game. Any more interest now on the Detroit side of this one?
I don't know if it's like full blown interest. Is like I'd play McKinstry as like a one off. Continues to be good.
Maybe.
Yeah, a little 7. Yeah, McKinstry's been consistent. There's not like doesn't feel like he's gonna win me a tournament. He had 16 fantasy points the other day. Can't say
3
I hate
homers
that.
And 6 stolen bases on the year. 2 in the last 10.
Yeah, so last time I said this about a Tigers guy, Riley Green, he hit a home run. So like, who? Let's see, lineup out for the Red Sox. We have 7 lefties. Reese McGuire is behind the plate.
I don't mind Reese McGuire tonight as a punt catcher. I'll say that.
Verdugo, Yoshida, Turner, Devers, Duran, Kike, Cassis, Valdez, and Reese McGuire.
Okay, I like it.
Marlins lineup also out. Our chalk catcher, Jacob Stallings, not even in the lineup.
Who's catching
tonight? Fortes is catching for the Miami Marlins. He is 2,900 righty-lefty matchup. Homered the last time we saw him play, John. 211 average on the year, but hey, man, homered.
Sometimes these guys, they have a little power on them. Let's see. What are the splits here for him against lefties this year? He is just smoking them. 412 average, 667 slugging, 1,100 OPS. Granted, it's 5 for
13. 13 plate appearances.
Home run, but still, listen, way better than what he does against righties. So. Where he has 14 hits, love the splits. Everybody will play him. He's $2,900. All right, other values. Did you say Emmanuel Valdez wasn't in the lineup today? Was okay. $3,100. Got to feel like that's pretty good. Count Castro we liked last night. Julian hitting 5th against Cobb. Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Under absolutely zero circumstances should Adam Frazier ever be a 5-hitter, but he is for Baltimore tonight. Pointing that out for the absurdity of it all, not because I want to play him. I do want to play Owen Miller, though.
Yeah,
he's been good. He's $2,700 in the middle of the lineup. And as I mentioned, like the numbers for JB France against righties are abysmal. Like very, very bad. I don't have a chart that shows me colors, but the one I'm looking at is a 444 WOBA, a 405 ISO. This is righties. Like
righties.
A 405 ISO, my friend. That is absurdly high. Like, we think 200 ISO is good. 400 ISO is double that. So
No, that's everything that he's allowing is leaving.
41.9% hard hit rate by righties. So again, we like Rowdy Tellez today, but we're gonna have a lot of Willy Adames in our lineups tonight. At $3,900, we'll touch upon that in a moment. But Owen Miller right there in the middle of that lineup too at $2,700. I'm big fan. Brian Anderson, Owen Miller, Willy Adames stack. Like, oh man, we've lost so much money playing the Brewers today, but I'm willing to do it again. Yeah.
I cannot believe that they were like, you know what? Let's play a lefty catcher instead of William Contreras against a guy who can't get righties out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not like William Contreras is better against lefties, but like he's a good hitter. Like maybe play him.
JP France is pretty much putting a ball on a tee against righties. He's like, here you go.
Yes.
Like,
well, we saw it. Sayed homered twice. Morel homered. The Cubs hit like 4 home runs against them in like the first 2 innings of the game last time out. So I will. So if you guys haven't been following the last 2 days, I've been putting out asking the public for their home run calls. If you guys want to chime in, you can chime in right here in the comment section, or if throughout the day comment on my Twitter. Someone gave a shout out to Eduardo Escobar, John, hitting second tonight for the New York Metropolitans against Drew Smyly, second and third base eligible. I mean, he does hit lefties well.
If you want to go there, go for it. But
he does hit lefties.
That's not a play for me.
273 ISO this year against left-handed pitching.
Sounds great. Not going there for me.
Okay, just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm just replying. We're putting down what you're picking up and letting you know it's not a play for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, was it Vreeland? Was that who told you about those?
No, Vreeland. No, Vreeland saw the Kelnick pitcher.
Oh, yes.
He got far too excited seeing Jared Kelnick. We know what Vreeland felt about the Kelnick pitcher.
It's true. That's true. All right. Third base then. Devers is 57. Muncy's 52 in the bad matchup against Strider. Riley 48. I don't know. What are we what are we looking at here for third baseman?
I'm going right back to Devers. Like I said, the Boston stack is being misrepresented, I feel, in terms of ownership. Not a lot going towards them. Devers is like the 6th highest owned third baseman projected on the slate. And I get it. There's Miami involved and they're free. We have John Birdie leading off tonight. So a lot of people are going to go in that direction. And I understand it. Like, it is what it is. But Griffin Canning, again, just pitching to a lot of contact. And Boston is a team who has not lacked offensive thump this year. That's the one thing we can say about Boston. Whether or not their pitching staff, one starter now, other than like Tanner Houck is in the rotation by a year's end, or maybe Brian Bayo, remains to be seen. But everyone in their lineup can thump. And Devers included 244 ISO against right-handed pitching this year. And Griffin Canning, 388 WOBA, 193 ISO to lefties. Like, no strikeout upside, 14% strikeout upside against strikeout rate against lefties. Like, he doesn't miss bats, period. The only thing we have to worry about with Griffin Canning is against lefties, he has a high ground ball rate. So I like Devers. I'm going right back to the well. He let me down on Monday, but I'm not letting that get me down on Tuesday. He's like the only guy up here I'd really play. I would play John Birdie at 46, but if I wanted to play Devers, I could just play Birdie.
I'm with you there. Just kind of do a quick refresh. Any updated lineup spots here? LeMahieu hitting cleanup tonight, $3,900. Third base only now for LeMahieu here. Brian Anderson, as I mentioned, hitting fifth, $3,500. Let's check to see if any of those numbers have flipped on him at all. Earlier this year, he had been hitting righties better than lefties.
I don't know if your chart has colors.
No chart with colors. Still the same though. Excuse me. 254 batting average, 432 slug, 770 OPS against righties. Still not hitting lefties, but Brian Anderson there against righties doing the damage.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it like 3, 4, 5, 6. You can run this entire stack. Like,
Yep.
feels very good. And like playing Brian Anderson and Owen Miller and
You
Willie
spend
Adames and
up
Rowdy
for other
Tellez.
guys.
Dude, Rowdy Tellez is the most expensive player in that group at 4,100. Like, that is not a cheap or not an expensive stack. And yes, Milwaukee has let us down. And even if you don't want to play this full stack, like you could just pick your parts. But Brian Anderson at 3,500 feels very good.
Anybody else at third base for you?
No one like really stands out. To your Tigers point, like Nicky Matone at times has hit for power, but he's hitting 145. I think it's interesting the Mets batting Vientos fifth today. That's really intriguing. Like if you really want to get into the thick of a Mets stack, Alonso, Escobar, like another, they're not really that expensive when you look at the Mets lineup because you can play Vientos and Escobar in the top half of their lineup, both under $2,600.
Makes it very easy to get Alonso.
Very affordable.
For sure.
Yes, makes it very easy to get Alonso. So I like Vientos here at 2,600. Like you'd rather obviously play him at third because you have Alonso at first. Only other mention is Gene Segura hitting sixth. He's another one that's going to be popular. I don't love playing Gene Segura because he just like isn't that same guy he was. That even he was like Luis Arias esque, like
but he had a little
junior
more pop,
version,
it felt like too, right?
But a little more pop. And he used to hit. He just like doesn't anymore. So I don't like. I'm not forcing John Segura into my lineup, but like if that's what being.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just saw a number, John, that we're going to get to in the outfield looking at Miami as a sneak preview. Holy smokes. He is actually going to hit a ball out of a stadium tonight.
Okay. Is it De La Cruz's ISO versus lefties?
No, it's Jorge Soler's ISO against lefties. Yes. Okay.
But I mean, both of them are very
yes.
Big numbers. And we do like both. We'll talk about it in a moment here. Let's go on over to shortstop. We don't need to waste too much time on this because we've already identified the fact that we have Willie Adames at $3,700.
Yep.
That's our favorite shortstop play of the day. Again, we're going Milwaukee, righties, lefties, you name it. We're going against JP France here as one of our favorite stacks. Not to say you can't play anybody else. Volpe 44K is fine. Pena hitting 6 against Ray feels expensive, but if you want to go Houston stack, I mean, they had put up 1 billion runs yesterday. You're at 2%. Yordan Alvarez had a grand slam, 2 home runs. Like nobody played Houston. And we say this a lot, right? Like feels like on big slates, nobody plays Toronto, nobody plays Houston. They all like go in other matchups. So could certainly find yourself going up here with Houston against Colin Ray. Don't really care for Bobby Witt or Xander Bogaerts at the top. So for me, it's really Pena. It's going to be Volpe or Adames there in that top half group.
I'll give Witt a shout. I like the 4 spot in the lineup. Like obviously it's a really tough spot if Erod continues to pitch well. 333 ISO against lefties. So he's doing all of his damage against left-handed pitching, and that's kind of why we're getting him hitting 4th, I assume. You can also play Birdie here, 4,600. I think that, he's leading off, so you can, instead of playing him at third.
The core is exposure there, but he's just an unexciting player.
He's unexciting until he isn't, until he steals 3 bases. I know the stolen bases are obviously down.
Yeah, they haven't even been there. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that John Birdie decided, you know what? These rule changes, I'm not going to run anymore.
Right.
It's too easy for me. I don't want to run. That's what
we have Ronald Acuna stealing third on walks, and Ron Birdie won't steal at all. So
I had 50 stolen bases being a part-time player last year, but he's like, you know what? It's too easy for me. I don't feel like running this year. I would play like last piece in JP Crawford, 3,600. I know it's
why?
Because you can play Adames at 37.
Right. Like, why would you play JP Crawford when he $100 more?
Well, if you're playing like 10 lineups, 20 lineups, if you're entering the $4.20 max, or if you're entering the 150 max, whatever.
Listen, I like JP Crawford as a player, that, but like I would almost rather play Arcia on the wraparound than Crawford. I mean, Seattle's offense sucks, so I mean
they've been a little better.
slightly better. Kelnick's been fine, but everybody else kind of blows.
Big night last night. J-Rod's season was in full effect. No home run, but lots of.
Sure.
We talked about it 2 nights ago, or was that yesterday? There is a lot of positive regression coming Julio Rodriguez way.
Yep.
And lefties have given Medina problems this year. 267 ISO. So I'm just throwing it out there. I know that doesn't like do a lot for JP Crawford because like we'd be lucky to get 10 home runs a year.
Right. I just don't know what I'm getting out of JP Crawford.
Sure. You're not wrong. Where like if I'm playing one lineup pitchers, obviously I'm not.
Sure.
Why
Crawford is only making a lineup in a Seattle stack, and then even then I probably don't. But that would be it. So not making a one-off or a value play for me. But again, we're individuals, make multiple lineups, can all figure it out there. Outfielders, again, Acuna just lock stock. I mean, just absolute best player in the game.
Yep.
Is he going to lead the league? Is he going to lead every night in points? No, but you know what?
Maybe
he could. I mean, right? Like he's as consistent almost as there is right now. So 4 homers, 4 stolen bases, last 10 games. Certainly can go there. Judge, Ohtani, Jordan coming off of just a ridiculous night last night. 41 fantasy points for him. Again, pick a guy, pick your stack, and you can fit one of these or 2 of these guys even in the way we've talked about some of the value on tonight's slate. So
right.
I won't fault you for playing anybody except Juan Soto.
Probably. That's probably correct because he hasn't left as well.
Yeah, he's been a bit. He's largely been bad. Yoshida has an under 10% strikeout rate tonight. Talking about player props. I had my PrizePicks video go out, and then as soon as it went out, Sanigo got ruled out. That became a DNP. If you're looking for something to pair up the Josh Jung 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs tonight, Yoshida under half a strikeout. He's got a less than 10% strikeout rate. Griffin Canning's not really a strikeout guy. So I kind of like Yoshida there, not the strikeout tonight. So you can pair that one up if you want to replace and play under a half a K. 5,400. I'm a fan. Soler, talk about the home run numbers here.
Okay, so I moved off that number, but I will go back to it. So Jorge Soler, first off, best odds to hit home run once again. We talked about that yesterday.
Isolated plus 180 today, by the way. It was plus 220 yesterday. It's plus 180 today to homer.
Okay, so we'll start with Gomber. Against right-handed bats this year, 355 WOBA allowed, 232 ISO, 39.7% hard hit rate. Obviously abysmal. Every number suggests this is who he is. He's not striking anybody out. And that was like kind of what he did when he came up. They were like, oh, this guy strikes people out. Well, that's gone. 14% strikeout rate. Jorge Soler. It is a 39 at-bat sample. I understand. But 39 at-bats is pretty insane when you see a 719 ISO for Jorge Soler. 7 starts with the number 7. That is insane. 624 WOBA for Jorge Soler. That is the most lock and load number pairing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
I understand it's a 39 at-bat sample. You are now putting that 39 at-bat sample in Coors Field.
All right.
I'm telling you, he is hitting a home run.
I mean, plus 180 for a home run is absurd.
Is Aaron Judge last year? That's Aaron Judge last year number.
I'm pulling up DraftKings Sportsbook right now just to see what else we got on our guy here tonight. Of course, as you move, the king of the tabs here, I got 40,000 tabs. Everything is just lagging on me when I try to go do something. Let's see here. Let's get to this Coors Field game. Hits, runs, RBI for Soler is at 2.5. Usually it's 1.5. It's at 2.5 at minus 145. So again, pretty much expecting him to get at least 3 of something. Hits, runs, RBIs. I guess a home run covers that, right? Solo home run gives you the hit, the run, and the RBI right there.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Pretty interesting. See what he has to hit the first home run of that game. First home run. He is Plus 370 to hit the first home run. That's not bad, right? If someone's got a homer in that game, wouldn't you assume? He hits third too, right? Isn't he the?
He is hitting second.
Second. So he is
John Birdie. He has to avoid John Birdie.
He has to avoid a John Birdie leadoff home run because they bat first. So because they're on the road,
dude, he's going. Yo, hey, you can bet in Massachusetts.
I
That's
can.
all
I'm just saying a plus 370 for the first home run of that game.
I'm just saying too. I mean,
yeah, I'll probably throw a couple $1 bills on that. I'll probably throw a couple $.
I'll throw a couple $1 bills to you as well.
For that? Okay. For that. All right, let's go further down. We still got to make a lineup here tonight. Got about 10 minutes left of the show. But again, James and I will be in the Discord up till 7. You can get the Discord access by signing up down below, faceline.com/allpro. Promo code MLB50 saves you 50% off the first 6 months. That's $19.98 a month for the first 6 months. And right now, we have a 7-day free trial as well. So you go ahead, you sign up, get 7 days free. Get in our premium Discord. James and I will be in there answering your lineup questions along with the rest of the Fantasy Alarm team and subscribers. It's all good there. We'll be there until roster lock for you. James, next tier down in outfield, where are we peaking? Obviously, we know Kelenick's been an absolute monster. We've discussed Morel here. I don't know. How deep in Milwaukee are we going? Does Christian Yelich leading off have any appeal to you tonight?
He's in one of those stretches where, like, you could get to him, right? He's just been so... Since he has come down to earth from, like, best player in baseball
ever?
To, like... Yeah, best player ever to, like, ground ball enthusiast. Like, you can play him during these stretches. He's fine if you want to play that
this
stack.
has definitely been one of the best stretches we've seen from him in, 3 years, it seems like?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he has these. Like, he has these stretches a lot. But then he just goes ice cold, and then next thing you know, he's hitting 220 again. You're like, all right. So you can get to him. Not my favorite, not something I'm like shying away from either. Jurickson Profar 4,100. If you're, or any of these Rockies guys, really, dude, Profar's been awesome. 4 straight multi-hit games for him, 381 average over his last 10 games. Like, you know, he was locked out of the country before, like, he couldn't get into the country and got to the team late. Like, he just got into things a little late.
From a number 1 overall prospect as well.
Right. And he had a really good year with San Diego last year, led off for most of the season. Just start, and he gets a hit in cores. I like him. I like Grishik. Brent Rooker, I was commenting to you in Servo. He has mashed lefties. I know he's been slowed down of late, but he has done nothing but hit lefties his entire season. Brian De La Cruz, 3,800. There's a lot to like in this next year. Brenton Doyle. I know
De La Cruz for me, not to just quickly go by him, but De La Cruz for me is a core play.
Yeah.
4 hits last night. You got. I think you lock and load.
Yeah, it looks like John's having a little.
He makes it easy to get Soler in your
technical
lineup.
Difficulty there, John. You there?
My back.
You there?
My back.
You're back. You're back.
I'm here. I told you, man. I got too many tabs. I think. That's the
Yeah, that's the tab. That's the come on, dude. You gotta have like 25 max, you know, like
I was trying to close it. I think that's what happened there. Plus, I was very excited about Brian De La Cruz. So while being too excited for Brian De La Cruz. So.
Both guys, I think both guys elite plays. Him and Soler, if you want to play. Where's Brian De La Cruz hitting in the lineup today? 4th. So, is he hitting 4th?
He is hitting 6th.
6th?
Fifth.
Why are we hitting him?
Hitting 5th.
Hitting 5th.
Behind Garrett Cooper today. Your typical 3 hitter, Luis Urias. You know, there's
yes, hitting 5th. In front of ex-great Astro Yuli Gurriel. Yeah, what a lineup they have going out there tonight. Story Ruiz, 3,500. Gonna steal a base.
Plus 155 for a stolen base tonight for Story Ruiz. I kind of like that.
I mean, he's stealing a base. He's getting on. He's stealing, and he's been very good against lefties specifically this year. Like, he's been awesome against lefties. 372 WOBA, only 11% strikeout rate against lefties. Like, Marco Gonzalez, 371 WOBA allowed to righties, 42% hard hit rate. This is why I think people are just like too quick to write Oakland off or like go to Marco Gonzalez. Like
Right.
nothing about Marco Gonzalez is good this year. 5 xFIP, 15% strikeout rate, all the hard hit. You're like Astoria Ruiz, base hit, stolen base, Brent Rooker home run, 2-0 before
Also,
you
it doesn't matter
blink.
that a lefty's on the mound. He has 9 stolen bases with lefties on the mound. So
I mean, like $3,500 for that guy. That's
Yeah.
elite. That's elite value. He might pay off in 2 at bats. He might just have like 20 fantasy points on like hit, stolen base, run, hit, stolen base, run. You're like, oh, should have played Astoria Ruiz tonight.
All right, quickly, give me a couple more of your value outfielders. We can build that lineup for everybody.
Mikey Moniak leading off again, homered against Boston last night, 2,900. The guy continues to just be awesome and play over Taylor Ward. I think he's firmly in play. If you're going in the direction of the Braves, Marcelo Zuna has been really good, $2,700. Corey Julks had a really good game last night, a home run, a double, 3 hits. He's a good little prospect, 3 home runs, 5 stolen bases on the year, hitting 9th wraparound stack.
Yep.
We haven't talked a lot of Houston, but Houston is in a very good spot.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody's going to play him tonight. So
Nope. And that's really it for like value that I'm like really intrigued
Mike
by.
Tauchman's back in baseball. Good for him.
Shout out Mike Tauchman, ex-Yankee great.
All right, pitching. Actually, let's get our Brewers in.
Yep.
We're gonna have value here. So
yeah, we're playing Adames.
Yeah,
we're playing Rowdy.
$3,700 Adames. I like Owen Miller here.
I do too.
Miller at second.
It was a bad second base position.
Tellez.
Do you want to start with 3 and then we'll move on?
Yeah,
from there?
we're gonna get Soler
and De La Cruz.
All right, 6K. Were we punting catcher here? Do we want to go Fortes? Or do
Kinda,
right?
Yeah, kinda. I think he makes a lot of sense. He's going to be popular, but who cares? We're pairing a popular Marlins team with a Brewers team that nobody's going to probably.
Bayo or Yuri?
What's your feelings on this? Like, it's your risk aversion versus like, what do you want to do about Coors Field? Like, we're using Yuri Perez, who's given up 3.
Yuri definitely has a strikeouts, but what worries me about Yuri is that pitch count. I think the innings limit on him.
Okay, and potentially the power, because 3 home runs in 2 games, and now he has to pitch in Coors. Right. So I'm okay going Bayo.
7K for third base outfielder. Do we want Rooker or Story there?
We're gonna probably plug Garrett Cole, right? Is that as our so let's
5K a play for third and an outfield. Devers.
I just plugged Devers in, and that gets you Jarren Duran.
Did you want to double up Boston?
I don't hate it. I also could obviously love going Brent Rooker just against the lefty power. So
we're just shy of Yelich, unfortunately, there, but that's fine. It's just quickly Anderson's 35.
What do we have? 4,200. I'd go Profar 41, Rooker 4,000.
Yeah, let's go Rooker here. You liked his numbers against that. So that's our lineup here tonight. We got Brian Bayo, Garrett Cole, Nick Fortes, Rowdy Tellez, Owen Miller, Rafael Devers, Willie Adames, Jorge Soler, Brian De La Cruz, and Brent Rooker. James and I will be in that Discord till roster lock. Good luck, everybody, tonight. We'll be back